All right, guys. Well, I am extremely excited to have LeeAnne Ruff as our special guest speaker tonight. For those of you who don't know LeeAnne is, her official title is Senior Manager of Training Development. It's pretty long, so that means she's pretty important. But LeeAnne is awesome. She has been with Beachbody for a little while now. She's the person who's helped develop the 3 Vital Behaviors training, Coach Basics. I actually had the opportunity to work with her during the beta test groups of that. Some of you were a part of that group. And she's also created the Emerald to Diamond group, which we're going through right now. And in addition to all that, I always like to mention that, LeeAnne has real world, real field business building experience. So the things that you're going to hear tonight are not just theory that she read in some book somewhere. These are things that she's actually done that have actually worked to help her grow business, and now that she helps train others and teach others so they can grow their business. So I'm extremely excited to announce LeeAnne Ruff. She is in our top right corner there.
Hey, guys.
All right. Take it away, LeeAnne.
All right. Well, you know what, Mark, thank you. And Jessica, thank you so much for having me on the call. I did get to work with Mark way back when we were testing Coach Basics, and you guys are so blessed to be on this amazing team that Mark and Jessica have created. So kudos to you, Mark, for all your hard work. And I actually had Mark up on stage with me at Leadership to help introduce Coach Basics. So it is always a pleasure to work with amazing leaders. And so I just want you all to appreciate and give Mark and Jessica a nice round of applause for the hard work that they put into giving you guys these opportunities. Thank you. That's awesome. So yes, as Mark said, I actually came from the field. I spent 15 years in the field building a business myself. I had $1 million organization that I built while I built a family of 4 kids. So it has been something I've done for over 20 years. I've been involved in this industry. I truly, truly love it. I think it is the best vehicle to provide yourself with an amazing business opportunity, career, and future for yourself and your family. So I love to help other people achieve it. So I'm so glad that you took the time out to be on this call with me today. I want to be sure you all have some paper and a pen so you can write and take notes. There are some things I'm going to ask you to do, so you want to be sure that you're following along with me. We will leave some time at the end. Mark didn't tell me how much time I have, but we will try to leave some time at the end for some questions as well. So today I'm going to talk to you about a topic that is absolutely probably one of my favorites. I'm going to spend some time talking to you about recruiting. I love this topic because it was pivotal in my career when the light bulb went on for me about how to become successful at it. My whole world changed with my business. So I hope that I can give you some insight so that you can have the same experience. I'm going to give you 12 points on becoming a master at recruiting that worked for me, and it's how I trained my team and created a recruiting culture with my organization. So be prepared to write some things down. The first one that I want to share with you is believe in yourself. You hear that? That's a lot of fluff, right? But I'm going to tell you how you can do that. And the first thing that I want you to do is I want you to write down 4 characteristics of a top coach. When you think of when you think of Mark and Jessica, when you think of, the top 10 coaches in our company, what do you think are characteristics that make a top coach? And I want you to write them down right now. Put down your top 4 that are down. And I bet a lot of you are going to say some of the same things, right? And be sure, you can share some of your ideas in the chat window, share them so we all can see what some of those are. And Mark can see them as well. If the chat feature is on with this call. Oh yeah, there it is. Okay. So now what I want you to do is write down, why are you a top coach? Why are you a top coach? What is a characteristic that you have that makes you an amazing coach? Now I'm going to ask you to write one, but when you get off this call, I want you to add 9 more things onto that list. 9 more characteristics of why are you an amazing coach? So everyone have that? Just nod. Did you write down one thing? Because let me tell you, if you don't believe in yourself, no one is going to believe in you. That's the first and foremost thing going into whether you are selling a product or sponsoring people onto your team. You have to believe you have what it takes to be a top coach. And there are lots of characteristics that our top coaches share, but there are some that make them very unique. You don't have to be exactly like Mark and Jessica to be successful. You just have to believe in you. What makes you a great coach? Number 2, you have to have a vision. Anyone at any level in this business can have a vision for themselves. Someone said something to me recently that, no, as a brand new coach, you can't create a vision. And I really push back on that. Yes, you can have a vision for yourself. We do it all the time when we talk about the car we want to drive or the house we want to build. It's easy for us to have a vision around those things, those materialistic things. If you can have a vision for what your next car is going to look like, then I'm telling you, you can have a vision for what you should look like. So I want you to spend some time and think about how do you see yourself a year from today? What type of coach do you want to be? What size is your team going to look like? If I were to knock on your front door on the 31st of December of 2014 and I walked into your kitchen, what do you look like? What's your family like? What's your financial situation? How many coaches do you have on your team? How many people do you have in your challenge groups? All of those things. What does that look like in your mind? Again, if you can't envision it, how is anyone else going to be able to? If you look at our top coaches, even if you look outside of Beachbody and you look at who has a great following, they're all visionaries. They have a vision for themselves. They have a vision for how they can help people, and people are attracted to that. So you need to create that for yourself. And your vision can be different than mine, than Mark's and the coaches on your team, but you have to have it, all right? You have to decide what that's going to look like so that people will feel that confidence from you and be attracted to it. Now, can it change? Yes, of course it can change. My husband and I built a house. If any of you built a house before, you'll understand that this process of creating your vision is very similar to that. We designed our house and there were layers and layers of plans. And you'd flip open the plans and you'd see the basement. You'd see, then flip the page, you'd see all the electrical. You'd flip a page, you see all the plumbing. Every little detail was in that vision we'd created for the house. Now, it changed. We moved a door over a foot. We changed the architect had put every light switch, right? We moved things around. We moved the lights here. We changed the type of door we'd put off the back of the house. You can change your vision, so don't feel like, well, if I write this down, it has to stick. No, absolutely not. Things are going to happen in your business and your vision is going to change. When I first started into my business, the first month I told my sponsor, I don't want to recruit. I just want to do my thing. I just want to sell products. I just do not want to sponsor. That's just not my style. I'm not interested in that. And then within a month, I was like, whoa, I can help other people do what I'm doing. And I became a massive recruiter. My vision changed for myself when I saw what the opportunity was going to be for me. You can give yourself permission for that vision to change. But I want you to put it in writing. I want you to write a letter to yourself on what that vision of yourself looks like a year from today. Write a letter to yourself that says, hey, LeeAnne, what an amazing year it was. I am so happy that A, my kids got into this college, and B, I am now making XYZ in income. Be really specific. Vision boards are great. They're great to look at, real visually appealing, but get down into the detail. If you were to describe yourself, what would it look like? This is a real important piece to becoming effective at not only inviting people into your challenge groups, but also inviting people onto your team. So make sure you do the work to build that confidence in yourself. Number 3, tell your story. Everyone has one. From the moment you come onto a team and become a Beachbody coach, you have a story. You are not waiting for that story to evolve. You had one from the moment you decided to become a Beachbody coach. And here's how you're going to be able to develop your story and feel confident in it. I'm going to give you some questions that I want you to answer that's going to make it really easy for you. The first one, what drew you to Beachbody? What drew you to Beachbody? The second one, what specific things convinced you you'd made the right choice? Does anyone on this call regret having become a Beachbody coach? No, you're all busy writing. What specific things convinced you it was the right choice? Number 3, what are your goals? And number 4, what do you hope Beachbody will do for you? What do you hope it will do for you? Now, this is an easy story to craft. I want to give you an example. I just jotted this one down as I was thinking of these questions. That this is how easy it is for you. I was drawn to Beachbody because I needed to lose 20 pounds, and a friend had invited me to try the 21-day fix. I was convinced I made the right choice because I got amazing accountability and I loved the program, and it led to my success in starting to lose weight. Now I want to help as many people as I can experience the same or similar results with one of our programs. I can now see how my new business can lead to some financial freedom for my family, and it makes it so much easier to pay for baseball uniforms and tap shoes. So do you see how simple that was? And it answered all the questions. I was drawn to Beachbody. I just wanted to lose some weight, and a friend told me about this Beachbody program. My goals, what convinced me it was the right choice? I got great accountability and support in the challenge group I was in. What are my goals? And now I want to help as many people achieve what I was able to achieve. The last question, what do I hope it'll do for you? For me, and now I see that I have a great business that will lead to some financial freedom that allows us to make choices much easier than we had before. That's all it is. You're not trying to have some amazing testimonial. People relate to you. What's your story? That's what they want to know. I learned this early on. I thought I needed to know all the facts. I thought I needed to know where every product came from, the company history. I thought people would want to know all the facts. They didn't want to know that. They wanted to know my story. Why are you doing this? What's it doing for you? So that they can relate to that. So make sure you can spend some time, answer those questions, and keep it really simple. So when someone asks you, you easily can share your story, whether it's on social media or person to person. Number 4, what is your intent? This is a word that is extremely important to me in this industry because it changes everything. And it gets the icky feeling of sales or recruiting right out of the way. It's your intent. Write it down. What is your intent? I want to help people get the results that I've gotten. I'm just, riffing here. But what is your specific intent? So why? Why do you want to sponsor other people on your team? Now, if it is because you want to get something out of it, if you're thinking about Success Club points or income goals, then I'm going to tell you no one's going to be attracted to that. But if your intent is purely to help other people experience what you're experiencing with the business and to get results in their life, that is exactly what they're going to feel from you. So go into every single situation, whether it's a product-based or recruiting-based, with a clear intent. Recruiting is not something you do to someone. It's something you do for someone. Is that how you look at it? Because if not, you should. When you take yourself out of the equation, it's all about what you're doing for someone. Our business is a gift, wouldn't you agree? How can you get into a business opportunity like we have for as easily as you can? It's a gift. View it that way, and then your intent will follow suit. Moving on to number 5, you need a list. I had a list always and forever. I could go back and look at people that I had put on my list from 8 years prior, because I kept a list. I was in the business before social media, before all the smartphones and technology. I had my list in a notebook. And I kept that notebook in my car. It went with me everywhere. When I met new people, when I thought of new people, when I met someone new in line at Walmart. Believe it or not, I met one of my best friends in line at Walmart. So, you have to be open to that. But I kept a list. And when I had my 4th child, I had taken some time away from my business and I wanted to kick it back up into gear. I pulled out that list and I went back years to people and reached back out to people to kickstart my business again. That's how vital keeping a list will be in your business. So you want to add to it every day. Who can you think of? Who knows that person who knows that person who knows that person? Think outside the box, right? So go back and start over. I don't care if you've been in this business for 3 years or 1 month, go back to that list and start over again with the right intent in mind and not prejudging anyone. This is a big thing. People prejudge. You prejudge your best friends. You prejudge your family and decide for them whether this business is going to work for them or not. And I'm telling you, when you do that, it's a huge mistake. And I want to even go as far as saying it's offensive. You don't have the right to choose for someone else whether this business is right for them or whether the choices to lead a healthy, fit life are right for them. You have to offer it to everyone. And if your intent is pure, then that's how they'll experience it from you. If you're not thinking about yourself, you can only be thinking about them. So be sure you go back and to the people you've prejudged and ask them. Number 6, ask questions and be more interested than interesting. I love when people ask me questions about my family or my kids. I'm an introvert. I am not someone who finds it easy to go up and talk to strangers. I'm not. I'm married to an extrovert. He makes it easy for me. But I built an amazing business as an introvert, and so can you. So I want you to think about how it makes you feel when someone asks you about something that's important to you. Everyone has a story to share as long as you ask them what it is, right? So be interested in people. Go up to them and ask them about that, great stroller that they're pushing their kids in or whatever. Be interested in, wow, that's really cool. Where'd you get that? That starts opening the door to people having a conversation with you. The people on social media. Don't be blasting about Beachbody. Be asking them about who they are, what's their story, what works for them. That will build a trusting relationship. So always ask more questions. So what I want to challenge you to do is go and learn the story of 5 new people this week. Take yourself completely out of it. Remember, intent. But I want you to learn the story of 5 new people. Maybe it's a coworker. that, you don't know all that well. Ask them. And you could even say, hey, what's your story anyway? My husband is so good at this. He has friends everywhere because he asks people, hey, what's your story? And people will tell him. I'm telling you, it's not difficult to do. Once you get in the flow of it, people love to talk about themselves, especially things that are near and dear to them. They've got kids. Everyone loves to talk about their kids, things that they're proud of. I think we're at number 7. And this one's simple. It's ask. 3 little letters, ask. People do not know that they can join you. Let me just tell you that. They do not know. We're immersed in this world. We get it. We get, network marketing. But your friends, family, acquaintances, they don't know. Has it ever been a policy when a friend starts a new job that they can hire you the next day? No, we're used to corporate America. We have to go and has to be a job opening. There has to be an interview. You have to go through a whole process. I can remember when I was in the field, and I would say, hey, you want to join my team? And people would say, can I? That's when it dawned on me. Like, oh, they don't get it. They don't get it. They can join me. In fact, I want you to join me. I would love to have you be a part of my team. Do you want to join me? Ask them. You have to ask. It's something that's just become so apparent to us, but people don't understand that. So I want you to think about this every time you are hesitant to ask someone to join your team or to join a challenge group or whatever it is. I want you to think, A, am I prejudging? And, ooh, I don't have the right to do that. And B, I want you to think about this analogy. When you go out to dinner and you have a great meal, what always happens when you're finished with your meal? Your server comes over to your table. They collect up your dishes. And what do they ask you? They ask you if you'd like dessert or coffee. They give you the option. Now, if they don't ask, you're thinking, that's rude service. They didn't even ask if I wanted dessert or coffee. Now, you are in control. You can decide, yeah, I think I'd like a cup of coffee, or yeah, I think I'd love that cheesecake. Or you can say, no, thank you. I'm not at this time. Dessert menu looks great, but we're not tonight. Do you think the server goes back into the kitchen and starts bawling because you said no? No, they're just doing their job. They're offering to you a service. That's how you need to look at what you have. You have that same level of service to offer the people that you're talking to about your business, about joining your team, about joining a challenge group. So if you don't make the ask, you're not letting them get dessert. I want you to think about that each time. Just ask them. Let them say yes or no. Don't decide. Because I'm telling you, you get a much better tip if you ask everyone. All right, everyone writing all this down? I hope this is helpful. Let's see. The other questions that I used to always ask, when do you want to get started? Do you have and here's the other thing. I always did this, and I don't know why people don't do this more often. And maybe because you just don't think about it. But every time I had someone join my team, I always said to them, do you have a friend that wants to do it with you? Have a friend that wants to join the challenge with you? Do you have a friend that would want to join the team with you? Because again, people do not know that they can do that. So be sure when you're asking that you ask for others. Okay, we're going on. We're on number 8. Be prepared for the most common objections that you'll hear. Now, do you need to know all the objections? Absolutely not. So don't be scared to make the ask or, ask questions because you don't know all the answers. You're never going to know all the answers. Let me just tell you, you're never going to know all the answers, but I can tell you how to respond to anything. First of all, someone on your team knows the answer. So whatever objection you might hear, someone else has heard it or has dealt with it, has the experience behind it. So if you get stumped, all you need to do is say, hey, wow, that's an interesting question. I've never heard that before. Let me check with my team and see if anyone else has had to overcome that, because I certainly don't want that to hold you back, whatever it might be, right? And then go ask. Jump onto your team page, ask Mark, ask the other people, hey, has anyone ever heard this as an objection? Get the answer as soon as you can and get right back to them. For other things, feel, felt, found. I don't know if you've heard this approach before, but it is amazing. I know how you feel. I felt the same way, but what I found is you can do that with anything. The most common objection I've heard, I don't know if you guys get this, but I bet you do, is I don't have time. I don't have time to be a coach. I could never do what you do. And how I would always respond, because time is relative. I'd always ask them, I put it back as a question to them. How much time do you think it takes? Almost always, probably 100% of the time, people would say, oh gosh, it takes a lot of time. I bet you are working all the time. This is like your full-time job, right? And I would say, well, how much time do you think I work my business? And they would always come back because, I was really successful, right? So people thought I must be working 40, 50, 60 hours a week at my business. So they would say, you're working like full-time hours on your business. And I would say, oh, actually, no, I'm not. I work full-time on my family. My business is very flexible and fits in with my family. Very rarely do I ever work full-time hours with my business. And so I would answer the question for them. But then I would put it back on them and say, how much time do you have? How much time would you have? Whether it's an hour a day or it's 10 hours a week, whatever it is, however they would respond, I'd be like, if I could tell you how to work this business into the time you have, would you want to join my team? So that's all you're doing, is you're filling someone's needs. But if you don't ask them what their needs are, you're never going to find out. You lose right from the very beginning. You can't fix everyone's objection until you find out what it is and how they're perceiving you, how they're perceiving the business. So you have to ask them. Simple. How much time do you think it takes? But again, with all that you hear, I know how you feel. I used to feel the same way. And most of the time, I could relate to their objection because I did feel the same way. Or, I had a spouse who was like, you're going to do what? Yeah, I know how you felt, but as soon as I started making some extra money and helping people, my husband was like, whoa, I like this. This is what I found. And again, if you don't know, you just ask other people on your team. Number 9, you're going to hear a lot of no's. Move away from no's. Move up. Move on and move up from a no. You're going to hear them all the time. You're going to, hear more no's than you hear yeses. So what? That's the attitude you need to take. If your intent is purely to help other people with this business, then you don't care about no's. You're focused on, oh my gosh, okay, check you off the list for now, and I'm going to go find someone else on my list. You get so wrapped up in the excitement and energy about helping more people get engaged in what you have to offer. That's all you're thinking about. That drives you. So you have to get to that point within yourself to be more excited about this business than feeling down about someone who says no to you. Because let me just tell you, if you can't get past no's, you're not going to move on because you're going to hear a lot of them. I just never cared. I honestly never cared. I've more felt bad for them, not bad for me, that they couldn't see the vision that I had. So I just moved on. Do not chase people. Do not chase people. Guys, I spent 15 years in the field. I was a top recruiter in my company. I'm here to tell you, Chasing people is like, once you catch them, they usually don't ever last. If you have to chase, this is not refinancing your house or adopting a child. This decision is a really simple one about a great business, right? If they can't make the decision to try it with you, don't chase them down to get them on your team. Move on to someone who's open to it. I tell you, I learned the hard way. And you put so much energy, you find someone who's like, oh my gosh, they'd be so good at this. Oh, you need to like constantly, or you dwell on it, you think about it. Oh, if only I had this one person on my team, they would be so great. I'm telling you, I promise you this. If you are chasing after people to convince them, they almost never work out. They have to want it, not you wanting it more for them. And when you take all that time and energy to chase someone, you're taking your eyes off of all the vast amount of people who are just waiting for what you have to offer. Eventually, some of those people that you think would be awesome and amazing will come around and will come back to you. I always, if I go back to my list, I always went back to my list. Like I said, after I had my fourth baby, I went back to the list and still contacted those people. Even though there were many people on there who had said no to me before, I reached out to them because life changes, people change. And you know what? It's a compliment to them. They feel valued, that you still want to invite them to be a part of what you have to offer. All right, where are we now? Number 10, create a recruiting culture. You guys are building teams, or you wouldn't be on this call. So you need to recognize when the coaches on your team are recruiting and they're sponsoring people onto your team. You want to talk about it all the time. You want to talk about strategies for adding to your list and building relationships. Create that culture on your team. You want to set a goal. I'm a big goal setter. And I would look, and I'm a big tracker. I tracked everything on my business. And the reason I did that was when you have a team and you know what you did 3 months prior or even a year prior, you can adjust your strategy to be able to overcompensate for maybe your team wasn't recruiting last month. You want to have a strategy to build on those things that you want to improve on. But if you aren't tracking it, you don't know the areas you want to improve on. So I always tracked where we were with recruiting, not only my personal recruiting, but as a team, so that I could provide incentives, or I could add more training, or I could do some one-on-one calls with people, because I knew what our numbers were and I knew what my destination was, what I wanted us to achieve. The other thing that I think is important when you're creating this culture on your team is to recognize that everyone is different on your team. They all come in with a different vision, a different story, different strengths. Remember, the very first thing I asked you to do was write down characteristics. What are your characteristics? You want to be sure everyone sees the characteristics of everyone else, so that they don't leave people off their list. There's really power in that. They don't have to be cookie cutter. They don't have to be you to be successful. So make sure you highlight the different characteristics of the coaches on your team as they start to build their businesses. Because that's empowering to everyone, that they can relate to those different characteristics. And you know what, guys? There's so much power in that you give people when you do that. You never know what you're going to hear when you ask people the questions about, what makes you a great coach, or why did you decide to become a great coach? I had, this is the days before, like I said, social media and Zoom conference calls. I actually went and did sales meetings with my team. And I would start every meeting, and we'd go around not every meeting, but I'd mix this up a bit. Again, it's what I knew what I wanted to work on. And so I would ask them, why did you decide to join? Why did you decide to join my teams? Because I wanted everyone to hear everyone else's reason why they wanted to join. And I remember one meeting, I'll never forget it. This one woman said to me, after a couple people had gone, and I got to her, and she said to me, she goes, you know what, LeeAnne, I didn't care what you were selling. I just knew I really liked you and your energy and enthusiasm, and I wanted to be a part of it. That is the power that you have to change the lives of other people. So make sure you understand that and embrace it, and let other people feel it as well from each other, because that's how your team will build that culture and have that confidence that, you know what, anyone can do this. We all come in for different reasons, and that's what makes it so amazing, such an amazing opportunity. Okay, number 11. You do not need to make promises of income or rank advancement or success. If you do, that is a huge mistake. So do not make promises on this business. That will make you look like every other MLM network marketing company out there, and it will turn people off. You can't promise them anything. The only thing you can promise people is, I'm going to give you the opportunity to sell our amazing health and fitness products. I'm going to give you training, and I'm going to do whatever I can to help you be successful. You can't promise anything beyond that, so don't. You shouldn't need to, and you shouldn't feel that you have to do that. If you do, then go back to what one was it on intent. Number 4, what's your intent? And number 12, I think this is the last one. Here's the deal, guys. You have to take 100% responsibility for you and your business. You are the one in control. Mark's not in control of your business. You can't blame him. Well, I didn't get enough training. You didn't tell me this. You guys are in control of your business. Take 100% responsibility for it. If you all have kids, you know what it's like think about your kids. If you would never tell them that, you don't have to do your homework, and it's the teacher's fault if they didn't get their homework completed on time and they got a big fat 0 for it, you have to take 100% responsibility for your business. If you don't feel confident in something, then raise your hand and say, I need help in this. Whatever that little hiccup is, you need to fix it. When I went back to, I shared with you when I first got started in the business, I had my first month and I was like, no, I don't want to recruit. I'm not interested in that. Because I had some doubts. I had this feeling like, oh, this really isn't, you can't really be that successful. I'm just doing it to make a car payment, which is really what I was focused on. I just wanted to get in a business, work from home, make a little extra money, just want to make a car payment. So I had a doubt that I couldn't really be that successful at this. So I went to my sponsor and I asked her so many questions and I fixed it. So I had no doubt at all. So I was really confident and I had a really clear intent. So if something's holding you back, you won't move past it until you fix it. So I'm going to encourage you to take responsibility for every part of your business. Embrace the strengths you have and work on the weaknesses that you have. That will build your confidence. That will attract people to you. And everything else will fall into place. Everything I mentioned will fall into place if you can be confident. You won't hesitate to ask people. You're going to be offering dessert to every single person you talk to about your challenge groups. So that is going to wrap it up for me. I want to just throw a couple things at you. First of all, if we're not friends on Facebook, don't hesitate to shoot me a friend request. Mark can tell you how to spell my name. It's really easy, although you can see it right on the screen, right? Don't friend request me at LeeAnne Beachbody. I never check that account. Just go to LeeAnne Ruff. I'm happy to follow along with your business as you grow. And secondly, what I'd love for you to do coming off this call is you can either shoot it to me in a message, a private message, or shoot it to Mark. But I want you to write down, what are your top 3 takeaways from this call? Top 3. I want you to write them down, and I want you to act on them. Giving you some things to do, right? I told you to write down the characteristics that make you a great coach. I want you to do those things. Don't get off this call without doing them. Move on and go on to something else. I want you to write down your story. What drew you to Beachbody? All those questions. I want you to do it. I could spend 24 hours talking about this, and it wouldn't help you if you didn't then start to take action on it. So what are those top 3 takeaways from this call? Please share them with Mark and Jessica, or share them with me. Whatever floats your boat, I want you to just take action. So I want to thank you all so much for allowing me to be on this call with you all. I hope that you got some takeaways. But I do want to open it up and see if you have any questions for me. So
Awesome. Hey, thanks so much, LeeAnne. This has been an amazing call. I have a ton of takeaways. I would say my favorite, and none of you are allowed to steal this one for when you send it to LeeAnne or me. I'm just kidding. But I love number 4 about the intent, right? And that takes that ick factor away. And when you said recruiting is something that you do for someone, not to them, right? We often talk about not trying to get someone, like we're not hunting, right? Like we're out there with our Shakeology gun trying to hunt someone down, and that's not what this is about. But just sharing the opportunity, sharing this gift of Beachbody, and that's the only thing we can do, right? We can't determine what the person does with the gift. We can just share it, and they might throw the gift in the garbage. They might return it to Target for something else, or they might actually use it. But that's not our decision for them. We just have to share it. So I love that point, LeeAnne. So if you have a question regarding recruiting for LeeAnne, now is the time to ask. If I see a question in the team page that you didn't get answered, it's your fault. Ask right now. You have a master recruiter on the line here with you. So I think you can unmute yourself.
You want to raise your hand?
I don't, or maybe raise your hand. That might be, but it's hard. I don't know how the phone people do it. All right. Anybody have any specific questions? Would you say Teresa had a question? Okay. Let me. Okay, Teresa, you are unmuted.
Okay. I get the whole thing about not to turn a no into a yes, right away, or at that moment. But is there any tips you can give on people who are enrolled and retention, trying to keep your retention rate high?
Are you talking about coaches?
Yeah, those that you've enrolled.
To build a business, or are you talking about people that are like, discount coaches that you've enrolled? You just be a little more.
I would say both. Well, not really, because I think a coach who's working the business and decides not to, I think it's one of those scenarios where you can't, like you said, you can't get them to want it. But let's say discount coaches, people that are, doing the program and they drop off or whatever the case is. You hear these calls on the coaches on the wake up call saying they have these high retention rates, and I'm kind of like shaking my head like, how? You know what I mean?
Yeah. Well, first of all, retention comes in through value, right? People are going to hang tight with you when they see a value in what you have to offer, right? I mean, think about yourself. If you signed up for a class and you got there and you didn't see the value in coming back, you would drop off. The same thing with our relationships, right? If you, one of the best ways that you can build relationships with the coaches on your team is to have one-on-one, video conferencing with them. This is the thing with social media, right? We have lost a lot of that social contact with people. We're visually building relationships. And Zoom and these video conferencing has really impacted the growth of our network because people now have relationships with them. People aren't going to quit a friend, right? If you become friends with your coaches, or build relationships with your coaches. I don't mean you have to become like best friends with everyone. I'm just saying is that they are familiar with you. They feel they can trust you. You're going to retain them. Think about I have a real, I used to have a realtor when I was back in New York, and I had communication from her all the time. I had a relationship with her. So, when we sold our house, of course, who am I going to go to sell our house, right? Because I had that relationship. She retained me as a customer because she valued the relationship, and I felt that value. So that's one thing that you want to consider. How are your customers, how are your coaches feeling valued by you? That's really important for retention. So I would go there. The other thing, too, is how you build that relationship when you onboard them. You may not be able to go back and fix what you've already created, but you can certainly make sure it doesn't happen when you enroll new people onto your team or as a customer. So start the process the right way, and we have great training on that. Just go into the Coach Training Academy under reference materials, and there's a whole slew of how to get a new coach started right. But again, I want you to go back to intent as well. So I hope that answers some of it. But I always think about this, in my own life. I don't feel valued. People are a Zoom call, for example. It's a great example of it. When people will tell me, "God, if my coaches won't get on my Zoom call, I can't get them." You know what? If they thought they were missing out on something, they would change their schedule to be on your call. You do that. If you see something offered, like you saw Mark's offering this call to you, you saw value in it. So some of you rearranged your calendars, your schedule, you put your kids to bed early, whatever, so that you could be on this call because you saw value. Are you offering that same value to your team?
Okay.
Great question.
Anybody else have a question? What else are you? Michelle.
Hi.
Hi.
Hi, LeeAnne. Thank you so much. This call was awesome. I just want to say that first. But as the master recruiter that you are, and you said you met one of your best friends at Walmart, I just want to know, how you approach somebody that's kind of a complete stranger. How do you make that natural for those of us who just are a little more shy and introverted?
Mm-hmm. Well, first of all, I always try to focus on something positive that starts as a compliment. "Oh my God, I love your shoes." And actually, she did it to me. At the time, my oldest daughter was having her it must have been her 4th birthday. And so my cart was filled with fairy wings and things like that. And she was in a different line. And she was like, "Oh my gosh, I love those fairy wings. Those are so cute." And bam, that's how it happened. So I learned a lot from that experience with her. And so I started doing it with people as well. Like, "Oh my gosh, I love your shoes. Those are adorable." I mean, sincere compliments, right? And you will see people's eyes light up. If you want to build your confidence in it, start saying to the sales clerk, call them by name. Anytime you're checking out of any store, or the bank teller, always use the person's name. "Oh, thank you so much, Michelle. Have a great day." It starts to build your confidence because people love to hear the name. Right? It's the one thing that is completely your own is your your beautiful name, right? So start using your name. That'll build your confidence. But look for things that are interesting to you about other people, and then point it out to them. Someone standing in line with you at work, at the bank. Go say, "I love your purse." That's all. I've had people come up to me and say, "You have such a great attitude." I always point that out. Even when I'm shopping and I see a sales clerk that's helped me or whatever, I will always say, "You know what? I really appreciate your great attitude." Look for the best in people and point it out to them, and you become more interested in them. It takes practice.
Awesome.
Okay, wait. Sorry, don't go yet. So how do you transition that into a contact? Like, what's your name? So,
Sure.
Facebook, right? Like what? Okay, step 2. Sorry.
It's called forming. Then you just start to build a relationship with them, right? You always want to become friends first. So then it's like, gosh, I remember, I'm trying to figure out, our conversation turned to, it was her birthday coming up and she had just moved into the area. So then it became like, "Oh, you're new to the area?" "Yeah, I'm new to the area." Found out she was about to have her 40th birthday. And I felt bad. I didn't know this woman at all. But I was like, "You know what? Let's get together for your birthday. No one should be friendless on their 40th birthday." So we grabbed our kids. We met at a Wendy's, and we became friends. It's just building the friendship first, and that builds trust. She eventually joined my business. She eventually joined my team. And we had a great trusting relationship. So you can't expect it to happen overnight, but it's all about becoming friends with someone first, then getting their contact information. It's so easy now. I think it's easier now because I could have said to her easily in the Walmart line, "Hey, we should become friends on Facebook. How can I find you on Facebook?" Bam, I got her contact information, right? Everyone's on social media. "Hey, do you have an Instagram account? Would love to follow you. Let's stay connected." It's all in how you start that conversation with the intent to be a friend. You're going at it with the intent of, "Oh, I want to get this person on my team. Or into my challenge group because I need Success Club points." Then, wrong way to go, right? You have the intent of, "I really like you. Let's connect later. Let's become friends." And this could be the receptionist at your dentist office who's always so friendly to you when you come in, and you just start a conversation and you say, "You know what? I appreciate how kind you are when I come in each visit," right? Start the conversation and let it go from there. Don't push it. Let it evolve the way a natural friendship evolves. If you can start acting that way and talking that way in your day-to-day life, even as an introvert, you will attract people to you.
Thank you. That's perfect.
Awesome. All right, Stephanie, I see your hand up, I think.
Yes.
Okay.
Did you see an electronic hand too? I pushed the raise hand button.
Oh, where's that?
There's a button for that?
Okay.
Yeah.
No.
If you click on the participant and you click on your name, I can raise my hand. It says I have my hand raised if you look next to my name.
Oh.
I don't know. I guess I'll have to figure that out.
I'll lower
think
my
of
hand
that.
now. All right.
Go ahead.
So my question is, I don't mind talking to people. I can talk to strangers too, but I'm finding my struggle actually is having the time to do it. I always feel like I'm in a rush, and so I end up getting around a group of people that I think, "Oh man, I really need to take the time." Like today I went and got a massage. This woman was clearly, she simply said, "Man, if I didn't have to work 2 jobs, I would do so and so." And I was like, I walked away. I needed to get home and eat dinner. I was starving. So how do you find the time to really slow down and take that minute to make that contact when you don't think you have the time?
Well, number one, it has to be important to you.
Yeah.
right? So, you know, one thing I am is real, so don't be offended by anything that I say, because I'm not meaning it personally to any of you, or to you, Stephanie. But you know what? If it were important to you, you would have taken the time to at least get her contact information and simply say, you know what? I have to run right now, but I hear what you're saying, and I would love to connect with you because I might be able to help you. Can I get your name? And
yeah, no, that's good. Thank you.
shoot your message, and then make sure you do it. Guys, follow up is really, truly important. To me, it's offensive to tell someone I'm going to call you back, I'm going to follow up with you, and then not do it. So do what you say you're going to do. It builds trust. It attracts people to your team. Do what you say you're going to do. So if you tell someone, I'll shoot you an email, I'll follow up with you, I'm going to send you a friend request, whatever, then do it. If you forget, if life happens and you don't get to it, you start with it, I'm so sorry. I know I told you last week that I was going to follow up with you. I'm really sorry. You do matter to me. If that is your intent, you will never have a problem saying that to someone. If you value them, they will feel it.
Great, thanks.
Awesome. Hey, I'm sorry, you said there's something else? Oh, I'm going to unmute the phones because I don't know how they can unmute themselves. So if you're on a cell phone and you have a question, you can feel free to ask. Or if there's anybody else that has a question for LeeAnne.
Hey, Rachel,
Right.
Rachel, I know, Harding, where are you? I know you asked something in the one group. You want to ask your question, or was it already answered? Or are the kids in the background screaming?
Oh, let me. I think Teresa's trying to. What are you doing?
There we go. Can you hear me?
I can hear Teresa, yeah.
Okay, I have a different question now. Okay, every day, every week that goes by, I wished I would have done more towards the Beachbody business, but the reality is that life is busy, and I'm still juggling, you know, the job that pays my regular income until I can leave that. So I don't know if there's a formula or there is a priority list you can suggest on, you know, always make sure you're doing this. If you have to let something go, you know, that week or that day, then this is probably the least important thing, you know, when it comes to like posting or posting on social media or reaching out to new people or following up. I mean, following up, I'm a big thing on following up too, but you know what I'm saying? Of all the things that I can be doing to work my business, something always gets squeezed out, or more than one thing always gets squeezed out. So it would be helpful to know if there's like things that are, you know, you must never, ever squeeze out. Sorry, long question.
Well, that's a long, it requires a long answer. That's a whole call that I do. But I'm just going to tell you, I'm going to tell you in a nutshell, there's two important things in your business right now that drive you and always will, no matter what level you are in this business. And one is recruiting and one is selling. And what you need to do is look at all the activities, write a list, put down everything that you need to do that actually gets you results. What gets you results? Put it down on a list and prioritize. Schedule a power hour and divide your time between those two activities and do them. Don't get distracted. Don't answer the door when your best friend comes over and wants to have coffee. If you were working in a regular office setting, you couldn't do that. You couldn't just stop your job and go chat with your best friend for an hour, right? Treat your business like a business. Schedule yourself. If you only have an hour, schedule an hour. If you have a half hour, break it into 2 15-minute segments and only do the activities that you know will get you results. Inviting gets you results. Building relationships get you results. Following up with your contacts. gets you results. There's a lot of other fluff that you do. Are you following coaches on Facebook? And then you start, oh, I love her shoes. Oh my gosh, look at her daughter is so cute. Hello, that doesn't build your business. What builds your business is saying, what did she post today? How can I make that message mine? And I'm going to copy it. What did Mark post today? Great, I'm going to copy it. Do the things that drive your business, get rid of the fluff. You really want to get focused, that's how you prioritize. Set a timer so that you don't lose track of time and you feel like you've accomplished something. Otherwise, you're like, you know what, the buzzer goes off from the washing machine, you got to put the clothes in the dryer. No, you don't. If you worked somewhere else outside of your home, you wouldn't be throwing the wet clothes into the dryer, right? You do it when you got home. It's no different with your business, whether, like I said, whether you have a half hour, an hour, or a 2-hour block of time, focus on your business, and I guarantee you'll get results that way. But again, that's a whole other call. But that's my tip in a real nutshell.
Thanks. That was helpful.
Awesome. Any last call for questions for LeeAnne? No?
Should I ask that one that I posted?
Who's talking?
Me. But should I ask the one that I posted? It's really for curiosity.
Which one?
The one about.
Oh, yeah, that's fine. With number 2.
Okay. Okay, I'm hogging the questions here, but
No, that's good.
Go
the
ahead.
question I posted was, LeeAnne, you were really successful at your Pampered Chef business. I'm curious why you let it go or walked away, not in the sense of why you did, but more so understanding the longevity of our businesses.
Yeah, well, that's a long answer. Really, in a nutshell, I can tell you that, yeah, that's too long of an answer. But let me just share with you briefly that I feel that what I'm able to do now impacts lives, many more lives than what I could do at that stage of my business. And there were things that had happened in our business that led me to look for another challenge. And so that's why I'm here. And I feel, I don't know where you all are on your faith journey, but I felt that it was my turn to go impact many more people. And that's how I get to do that with Beachbody. I absolutely love this industry as a whole. It is, to me, life-changing when you can embrace the power that it gives you to change your life. It changed my life. I started in this industry as a young 20-something-year-old with 3 children under 6 years old, and built a very amazing business that got my kids' college education paid for. It got our brand new house paid for. But more than that, it enabled my kids to see that you can do anything you put your mind to. And that was the best gift of all. I felt that I was able to really show them how entrepreneurship, how working your tail off can pay off in many, many ways. And so I believe that is the same for each and every one of you. So I am on a personal mission to help as many people as I can in my lifetime experience what I've experienced with this amazing opportunity that you have in front of you. Beachbody isn't going anywhere except up. This is just such an exciting company to work for. Our mission is so different than selling pots and pans. It's changing lives, right? It is really just incredibly different than the world I came from. And the thing is, and this is my last comment to all of you, is it doesn't matter what your background is, what your history is, what your age, your looks, your story. None of that matters except for you. You matter. And you need to understand that you can take this business however far and wide that you want it. It's completely up to you. If you knew my background, you'd understand why I say this to you. This success is not limited to a few. It's available to all of you. Again, it goes to take 100% responsibility for yourself and your business, and there'll be no stopping you. So I hope that I was able to answer a lot of your questions. I really hope that I impressed on you all that, like Mark, your number one takeaway, this is not something you do to someone. It is such an empowering gift you give to people to be able to change their physical lives as well as their financial lives. So I hope that you take these tips, you put them into action, and go for it. Don't worry about the no's. Just go for it and change lives.
Awesome. Thank you. And guys, real quick, want to let you know the recording is going to be posted as soon as it downloads to my computer. I didn't realize that we only had space for 25 people on this call. So that was my mistake. I didn't realize that the upgrade was I had to pay extra for that to get to 100. So I will post the video on the team page as soon as I can. So make sure you tag your teammates that weren't able to hop on live with us so they can check out the recording of this video.
Sure.
But thanks again, LeeAnne. That was an amazing call. And I look forward to talking with you real soon again. So
Awesome.
thanks.
Bye, everyone. It was a pleasure. Hope to see you guys.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Thanks.
Thank you.